Welcome back to the early morning show. We begin our discussion now with Philip Alexander, who is the head of the Jericho Project. And the Jericho Project is one of many groups coming together tomorrow at the King George V Park for a candlelight vigil. And it's called Vigil Against the AG and Minister Jack Warner tomorrow. Welcome, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you for having me. That's not what it's supposed to be called, though. It's called enough. And I'm telling you because we're getting lost in the political noise. But our vigil is a coming together of a lot of civil groups, NGOs, bloggers, community. Trinidadians are fed up now. We're fed up of the tussle that politics. Somebody said yesterday in our press conference, we have very little governance and plenty politics. So the people getting lost and their issues getting sidelined. It's
become a sort of numbers game. Is this playing into that, this candlelight vigil tomorrow? What are you hoping to achieve?
We're hoping that people understand that the most important thing in a democracy is an informed electorate. We continue to push for Trinidadians to stand up for the quality of life that they want. There's an old saying, when the people lead, the leaders will follow. What's going on right now with the Section 34 fiasco, these people have to really believe that they have an entitlement to get away with this conspiracy. Because, make no mistake, people sat down and planned this thing. They planned every step of the way how to hijack our parliament to free investors who used their turn at office to rip off the country.
Well, the evidence has been presented, but isn't it up to members of the population to make their own determinations as to what exactly happened there? And can't you be perceived as being political where that issue is concerned because of a statement that you just made, for example?
Every time we say something, we're political, but at the end of the day, what is not politics? We, the people, a political party, take for example the Congress of the People, like the NAR in its last years, the Congress of the People walking around getting press time and pictures in the papers and on the news, like they're still a political party. They have no members anymore. The Congress of the People dead. They have a small group, a national executive, and they adding them out to this, that, and the other. That's not politics. Politics is supposed to be what the people want. It's not supposed to be you come to us every 5 years or if Manning in office every 2.5 years and tell us then what we want. You're supposed to be listening. I told this government when they came into office, convene a meeting of all the activists, whether you like us or not, convene a meeting of all the activists because they will tell you the lay of the land. They will tell you what the people on the ground really want. And if you deal with that, you would at least be addressing the issues of the people most likely to raise their voices against you.
So what will take place at this candlelight vigil? Would it include speeches or public education, or is it just a silent show of discontent?
And all of the above. The reality of the situation is we need more events like this that are not organized by political parties. Yesterday at the press conference, we kept getting questions. Is this aligned with the opposition? Is this aligned with the PNM? We need to stop thinking inside that box. Our politics is 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 million people. Our politics is not just UNC PNM. And the day Trinidadians understand that the same way I just told you that the Congress of the People is dead, it has no members, like the NAR is dead, has no members. The UNC and the PNM could equally be as dead this morning if the membership say, you know what? We're no longer interested in how you do your politics. We do not approve of this.
So what then are the options for the people? Because it seems to always boil down to an election situation where there's a zero-sum relationship. It's either you vote for this one or you vote for that one. And that is what we're left with. You know, so there are people who are expressing their discontent with what is happening within the People's Partnership, but who are saying, what are the alternatives, and are just not in a position to support the People's National Movement. So you are saying to move away from that political mindset.
Well, the most beautiful thing that happened that led up to May 24, 2010, because Kamala Mania is a myth. And everything that Ross Advertising and everybody else who got involved to fool people that this partnership was some great plan. All of this was a reaction to the people. We had our own Arab Spring. We pulled Manning down. Vernon de Lima and them busting a mark about Call the Heart, Wife, and Sunwake, and all of this would not have gotten any traction. What's going on right now with Section 34? I don't know if you remember, and the Mirror put out a story that says media failed because a month before, they put out a full front page bid to free Asian Steve, and nobody took it on in the Mirror. Colm Imbert, and I was on a radio show on another station, and he called in, and he was calling every radio station that would answer the phone to talk about Section 34, and nobody was taking it on. And then the Guardian put out this front page that Asian Steve to walk free, and it put it in a context that the people understood. And the moment the people understood and they got buy-in, Section 34 became a fiasco. And since then, Volney has been fired, Kamala is on the back foot, and everybody from the Chamber of Commerce, the DPP, the bloggers community, the man in the street, people drinking in the bar, everybody want to know what went on here. And the point I'm trying to make to you is people asking what they should do now, they should do what they're doing and more. They should ask questions, get involved. When you're in the supermarket, when you're in the churchyard, wherever you are, if there is an opportunity to discuss what's going on, reject things. Let your people, let the people who say they represent you know, we're not taking this anymore. We want better representation.
And as the leader of a activist group, have you seen that response from the people in this country?
But definitely, I mean, as I said, look at what just happened. Volney was thrown to the wolves. That's, here, you could have him, eat him up, don't touch Annan. Look at what went on Wednesday night on all the stations. That soft porn journalism that was inflicted on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, I watched Hansley Jordan, I cringed, I felt ashamed for the man, because that wasn't journalism. Jack Warner is the Minister of National Security, pick up an Express and beat it up against his chest and talking about a columnist and where she live and who she living with and who paying her bills. That is your Minister of National Security. That man should have been fired before the microphone came off his suit. He should have been fired then. Nothing Annan Ramlogan is saying is adding up. Nothing. Every time he makes a statement, it contradicts the last statement or somebody else's statement. When you reach that situation when the government, there's an old saying, pot on his back loudest when it's scared. To get those 5 people hastily jammed together and shoved down our throat, I mean, and to get Suraj Rambachan now coming after the fact to say the People's Partnership paid for it. That show was supposed to lead in, and every time it took a break, and at the end it was supposed to say, this is a paid political broadcast. Because if the political parties were having a broadcast, the people were supposed to be told that. Instead, it was disguised. You know, those infomercials in the States that try to fool you, make you think it's Larry King selling magic bullets. That's what they tried to do. They even then, they were being disingenuous. And the people have to reject this now. Reject it completely. And that does not mean that by rejecting this, you join the PNM. And it doesn't mean that by rejecting the UNC and what they're saying, that you have to become a member of the opposition. It means that there is 1.3 million of us, at last count. We, of us, supposed to provide another option. We're supposed to provide options.
We seem to be so politically aligned, every single one of us, that, you know, being called out to a vigil, like what you are inviting people to attend tomorrow, means that you are now aligned with your group in some sort of political way. Does it mean that?
I don't think so, because we've been marching every year since the Jericho Project was formed. We've been asking, somebody raped and murdered Akil Chambers. Somebody did that. And we've been, and every other child since that has been brutalized and murdered. So we've been marching every year. Last year we had about 10,000 people. I saw people in that march that are diametrically opposite to me on certain issues. It doesn't mean that because we join together and say in this issue, we reject this. It doesn't mean that we just formed a party or that we together joined a party. It means that on an issue, we reject this. But what I despise, and I want to use that word without apologies, is having Rudal Monilal and his cynical sarcasm on every issue. We don't have any leadership. The people sat down there dumbstruck watching the Prime Minister give us an example, that an explanation that everybody knew. The civics lesson that she gave leading in, it didn't make sense. You're living in a country now where the Minister of National Security, and this Wednesday night, what is Wednesday night was supposed to tell people is not a damn dog bark, because we'll call your name, we go demonize you. The journalists, read Sheila Rampasad column today in the Express. What the journalists that say anything about this government goes through, they have paid bloggers whose whole job is to assassinate you, pull you down, make you out to be the nastiest thing in Trinidad. So people forget the message and they kill the messenger. And we need to get to a place where Trinidadians, as people say, you know what? We reject that. You are a government minister. There is supposed to be rules of engagement. You do not come on the table. Anil Roberts had the worst things to say about David Abdullah and the MSJ. I mean, David doing his part. He trying to be what he could be. We don't know how long we all here for Lincoln Myers. When Lincoln Myers came out to the press conference, he's active in our organization, his One Accord organization. We're trying to get something. Lincoln is in a wheelchair now. For Lincoln to move around is a little difficulty. It affects, I mean, we all want to move with dignity. He has to be carried upstairs to a press conference yesterday. These people put themselves out for the country, for the nation as an example and as leadership. And Trinidadians are supposed to stand up in their hundreds of thousands. We mustn't wait for it to reach, well, all the money done, all the oil is gone, all the gas is gone, so we who stole the money, we're going to live in Miami and party with the rich and famous. You all could eat one another now. We cannot wait for that to be the case.
Well, we have just about a minute left until we have to wrap this interview. So what are the criteria to come out onto the King George V Park tomorrow?
Care about Trinidad. Care about the future of this country. We cannot live in a country where we've had 2 people beheaded in a week. And the country has not stopped dead. We've had a little boy stabbed to death with 22 stab wounds. How much hate does that take? What is it going to take? When do we realize, A, when they're stabbing us? We need to understand that what is going on here. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are responsible for the tone of the country that we live in, and we are supposed to stand up and say, this is how we want it to be.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alexander. Philip Alexander is the head of the Jericho Project, one of the groups that will be coming out tomorrow on the King George V Park for a candlelight vigil entitled Enough. We'll take a short break now and we'll go to our 7 o'clock newscast. See you after that.